Hey everyone, my name is Zena Huxley Riker, and I'm a medical resident and primary care doctor. Over the last few years of my training, I've had multiple patients share their experiences of police violence, and I've been really unsure about what to do and what to advise them to do. I'm really lucky to be joined today by Shelby and Catherine to help me learn to better care and advocate for my patients.
Hi, everyone. My name is Shelby Henderson Griffiths. I'm a Yale Prison Education Initiative College to Career Fellow. I'm also a second year law student, a formerly incarcerated woman, and I'm happy to be here with you guys to have this discussion and to also share the work of the Sage Center for Health and Justice.
Hi, everyone. My name is Catherine Thomas. I'm a clinical psychologist and a lawyer at the Sage Center for Health and Justice and at the Justice Collaboratory, and I'm happy to be here with you all to discuss this important issue.
Thank you both for being here today. I was thinking that maybe I could just start by sharing a story about one of my patients.
That sounds great.
Awesome. So over the summer, I saw a new patient who was there to establish primary care. He was in his 20s and had recently returned home from being incarcerated. His biggest concern was pain on his left side. When I asked him some additional questions about the origin and the context of this pain, he shared that multiple times while he was incarcerated and while he was being arrested, he had had physical force used against him. I wasn't really sure what to do from there other than to listen to his story and continue to work up for any resulting injury. Catherine and Shelby, I was wondering if there were any options for actions to take when a patient shares this kind of information. Is there anything that the patient can do?
Yeah, there's a variety of options the patient can choose. For example, to file a report with the local police department. In that case, if the patient chooses to file a complaint with the police department, they can file a written complaint with either the Internal Affairs Division or a civil complaint with a civil review board. In many cases, patients have the options to file an anonymous complaint.
The patient can also choose to file a lawsuit in state or federal court. In federal court, the patient can file what we call a Section 1983 civil rights lawsuit, which states how the police violated their constitutional rights. And through that lawsuit, they can seek financial compensation for injuries that they suffered. Filing a lawsuit in state court is a similar process, except state court involves the police violating a state statute instead of the federal constitution.
Wow, it really seems like there's a bunch of different options for a patient in this situation. Is there a reason why someone would choose one of those options over the other?
Well, really, it depends on what the patient's goals are. People may choose to file in state court, federal court, or both. And we encourage patients to discuss their legal rights as well as the remedies with an attorney to make the right decision for themselves. And most civil rights attorneys, they do work on a commission base, so they don't charge any upfront fees. If there was a verdict or settlement, the attorney would then take a percentage, but this is helpful because it doesn't require the patient to pay the attorney directly upfront or to pay for any hourly fees.
Okay, that's all starting to make a lot more sense to me. What steps can I, as the provider in a situation like this, take to help support my patient when they share something similar?
For both you as the provider and for the person who experiences the incident, the most important first step is going to be to write everything down and to write down as much information as you can about badge numbers, names, patrol car numbers, any witnesses involved can all be helpful pieces of information. Additionally, taking photos of any injuries can be very important. And it's especially important for you as a healthcare provider to document all of this information in your notes. Documentation by healthcare providers is really important when a patient's considering filing a civil rights lawsuit in state court or federal court. Typically, testimony about an event by someone who wasn't present at that event would be considered hearsay and would be inadmissible in court. But there is a hearsay exception for healthcare providers that a statement made for medical diagnosis or treatment can be admissible, which makes these notes very important for civil rights lawsuits.
I see. What is important for me to document in my notes in the medical record? Should all of those details that you just explained go into my note as well?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much just continue doing what you've always been doing, documenting the story that a person is telling you, including the dates and any other information you have is important, um, just as anything else. So clearly documenting physical findings, pictures if you have it, and anything else you guys deem appropriate.
Okay. And what if my patients aren't sure how to report or file these kinds of complaints? Who can I point them towards to take that next step if that's what they're interested in?
Patients can consult with an attorney to discuss their legal rights and remedies. They can also contact their local civil rights organizations, such as the NAACP or the ACLU, or they can just submit a report to the U.S. Department of Justice Civil Rights Division. And the document that we've created, I think, will also help to explain a lot of what people can do.
Amazing. This has all been so helpful. I'm definitely going to have to follow up with my patient and let him know about all of these resources.
And like Shelby mentioned, we actually developed some handouts for providers and for patients to answer all of these questions and provide some more details. And you can find the handouts on the SAIS Center for Health and Justice website, which we'll link to this video.
Amazing. And once a patient reports or files a lawsuit, like we just talked about, what role, if any, will I, as the provider, play? I don't know that I necessarily have time or am really comfortable getting involved.
That's a great question. And it's important to note that it's not a medical provider's role to decide whether or not police brutality occurred. So there are state and federal agencies that prosecute these issues as well, such as the Department of Justice. So you can continue to provide medical services to your patients as usual.
Thank you both so much for all of these insights, Catherine and Shelby. I personally feel so much more comfortable knowing some more about the options for reporting and taking steps should a patient disclose any police violence to me.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.